Hey, this is Frank Garza. I'm here with former boxer, world contender, Tarek Salmasi, and ringside physician, Mike Eldoradi. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And we're here to look at a young up-and-coming boxer, Hussam Almadashi, and give him support, and did a little interview here, which I found very interesting. And let's talk about him. This is your guys' community, each group, we have Mexican town, we have Greek town, we used to have German town, and what do they call your community? Is there a nickname for this community here? Dearborn.
East Dearborn, really.
East
Dearborn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm surprised that they never gave it a name like that.
There's no nickname, really.
But you know what? The south end of Dearborn, where the Arabs first originated, that was like known in Detroit, like Little Arabia.
I remember that.
Yeah,
but
Sixth Avenue.
But you may be too young to remember this, but the Arabic community at one time was up on 7 and 8 Mile, right off of Woodward between.
That's the Chaldean community.
Yeah.
That was the Chaldean.
That was
Okay.
the Chaldean.
Okay.
So in Detroit, it's the highest populated, Arab community outside of the Middle East.
That's correct.
But people don't fail to realize that about 80%. 70% is Chaldean.
Mm-hmm.
They probably got 300,000 Chaldeans in the Detroit area. Lebanese is probably like, what do you think, 60, 70,000?
Yeah,
40, 50,000?
exactly. Yep.
Is it changing the groups? Is it changing more of one group coming in? Because like in our community, the Mexican community, that was the first group that came in. It was at one time we were like 85, 90% of all the Hispanics in the area were 85, 90% Mexican. And then we actually became one of the first groups in the United States where the Puerto Rican and the Mexican families were moving in, getting married, and living together.
Nice.
And now we have a lot of people from Colombia, Nicaragua, San Salvador coming in. Yep. So you guys are finding that
So Dearborn is pretty diverse, I think. Lebanese, Iraqi, Yemeni, Jordanian, Palestinian.
So what you were speaking to, it was first it was Lebanese, all Lebanese. Then it was Yemeni. And then last 10, 20 years have been Iraqi. That's you got his family, Postam's family migrated here.
Earlier we were talking about boxing groups and how each ethnic group will have their reign and their reign to say. And everybody's talking about the Eastern Europeans they're the ones that are dominating in boxing at this time. But I'm going out on, and I really don't think I'm going out on one. I think from what I'm seeing, that the Middle Eastern and the Arabic people are going to be the next reign in the ring. What do you guys think?
When you say that though, how soon are you talking about? Probably next 15. You're right, what you're saying, but I think it's going to take about 15 years, 10, 15 years.
I want to say 10 years, and the reason that I'm saying that is because I'm seeing so much talent on the amateur level coming up, not only in this area. I mean, I've seen it out in California, I've seen it in New York, on the East Coast.
I think they'll have you'll see a big spike with the Arab Americans boxing, but that'll never be like the Mexicans.
I agree.
No way.
I agree.
A lot of the Arabs won't let the kids box.
Yep.
Like if I had a son, I probably won't let him box. And I fought.
Yeah. And
I don't have a son. I have a daughter.
is it a culture?
I might let her fight. She wants to fight. I won't.
Is it a culture thing, you think?
What's that?
That
For parents not to have
No,
a fight.
they don't. To them, they're like, I don't want my kids' brains to be bad shit. That's the way I look at it. Go get an education, but you have to let the kids play football and anything else. Not, it's not only some a little bit of ignorance, They don't know.
Well, let's talk about what you do, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Ringside physician, both for boxing and MMA.
Correct.
Now, how did you get into that?
So I actually got into it about 10 years ago. One of my buddies contacted me. I've been training, I've been doing Muay Thai, kickboxing for the last 15 years. One of my buddies contacted me, hey, can you work the fight? I helped out, I loved it. And then one promoter reached out to the other. So I love it, I'm passionate about it. I like MMA much more than boxing, but I love all unarmed combat sports.
What?
I love all sports.
You know what that means? That was your first love.
It was, because I've been watching UFC and Pride for 25 years. I'm 36 years old, since I was 10 years old. I grew up with MMA. But my father, my uncles, everybody used to watch Mike Tyson, and all the good old days. I love it, man. I'm passionate about it, and I like to help.
But it's your sport. That's the way I
Yeah.
look at it. You know, when the MMA came on the scene, I was asked, because we had no officials,
Yeah.
do you want to go into MMA and start reffing or judging MMA contests? And I said, no. I said, it's not my sport. I really don't know anything about it. I mean, to put me in there would be just like taking someone off the street and putting them in there. And I said, that's really not fair to the athletes and to the sport. I said, but let someone who's really into the sport, because I've already had my day in the sun. Let someone else have their day.
Do you know he ref Mike Tyson fight?
100%. Yeah, of course I did.
Let's ask you about that. How? No, that was different. That was a different outcome.
Flipping the interview
different
on
outcome.
it.
Put
Yeah.
the interview
That
on.
was a different outcome. So I mean,
I have to tell you, there was when we got the fight, there was a lot of phone calls, and I'm hearing this from the state. This is what the state told me afterwards. That there was a lot of commissions calling and saying we didn't have the people here that could referee the fight, and that they would be glad to send their referees in, their officials, and all this stuff. And I really give a lot of credit to the state of Michigan saying no. We have our own officials, and we're going to use our own officials. And I don't know what their thinking on that was, but when you sit back and you think of who we had on the local level, the people that we were refereeing, like yourself, not only in the amateurs, but also when you turned pro. All the shows, you know, we had 2 or 3 monthly shows. We had to show at the Palace, we had to show at the Premier Center, we had to show at the Cobo Arena. We were running 2 or 3.
boxing was rocking and rolling.
It was rocking and rolling, and
We were on for the
Yeah, of course it was.
and we were on TV all the time, you know. So, but look at the people that I would be in the ring with. Tommy, you know, Mickey Goodwin, you know, Brett Summers,
Obakar.
Oh my gosh! You know, one of the biggest fights that I remember doing is Obakar and Anthony Jones.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about that.
Two guys
Two
that
local guys who
should have been world champions.
Yeah, but they were the tail end of the career, and they met.
And they connect.
Caveman Lee,
Yeah.
Caveman Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
Hurley Sneed,
Hurley Sneed,
Oh, David Braxton.
David Braxton.
Oh, his name.
Good old days.
Marlon Thomas.
Marlon Thomas, the trouble.
I did Marlon when he was an amateur.
He
when
just
was
fought a
pro,
couple
and then he
weeks
just
ago,
fought.
yeah.
He came back at
Did
50
well.
years of age and
Yeah.
did really well.
Yeah.
You know, two guys in my career that I take a lot of pride in being able to say that I refereed them when they were an amateur, then I refereed them when they turned pro, and then I refereed them in a world championship fight was James Toney and Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Really?
That's
Two of the greatest.
two of the greatest, and they all came from the state of Michigan. But so I was picked for the Mike Tyson fight, and it was just a huge production. The promoter actually hired a public relations person to set up interviews. I mean, who had ever heard of the referee being interviewed for these fights? And I was getting calls. I'd have to be up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to take a call from Australia or New Zealand to do a radio show thing on there, you know. And Sports Illustrated did a big article. What a big, you know, the big sucker in the middle is going to be, you know, Frank Garza, because of the size and everything like that.
That was a crazy night.
It was a crazy night. It was a crazy night, but I thought I did my job well.
That was what year? 2000, right?
That was October of 2000.
Wow.
23 years old.
I was 14 years old. October 25th, 2000. Yeah. 14 years old.
Excuse me 1 second. I'm a judge.
But getting back to you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
So, in the fight, what do you look for? Do you watch? Of course, you're watching.
I'm
the
very
fight from the
passionate.
minute
Yes.
from the
So
opening
as
bell
far
all the
as
way.
so the most important thing is fighter safety. So as long as they're protecting themselves, as long as we don't notice anything that's going to be complicating their health later, most importantly, closed head injuries, concussions, and complications arising from concussions from repeated head blows. That's the most important thing. So as long as the patient is able to defend himself, is able to fight back, I'm watching, but once the patient, I keep saying patient, once the boxer, the fighter, is unable to protect himself and defend himself, that's when I get concerned. We're a little more vigilant. We just want to protect the fighter.
How do the boxers respond to you say they get knocked out or the referee stops the fight.
Of course.
And because you have to give a post-fight physical.
Yeah.
Have they ever become verbal abusive to you?
No, not. So I mean, most of the fighters have, they know me. We have a mutual respect, and they understand that I'm here for them. I'm not here for anything else. I'm not here for the fans. I'm not here for the promoters. I'm not here for the event. I'm here for the fighters. I'm here for their safety. And the most important thing to me is the fighter's safety. So if the fighter can continue, they can protect themselves, they can fight and defend themselves. I'm okay with it. But once that is compromised, then I need to intervene, regardless of what the outcome is. So
You feel that you also have the responsibility to intervene if you feel like the referee isn't doing his job?
absolutely, and that's very important because I've worked multiple fights where I felt the refs weren't doing their job correctly. I've made it, made sure that they were aware. But most importantly, that's what we're here for. We're here for fighter safety. I'm not here for the fans. I'm not here for the promoter. I'm not here for the event. I'm here for the fighters and their safety. And ultimately, it's after they get out of the ring, what's going to happen, any complications that may arise. But we just got to make sure they're safe. That's all.
And I think the referee and the doctor share a lot in common. And we have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders, responsibility that's handed to us that we have no say in. For instance, we may have a really good boxer and he's matched it up against someone that really shouldn't be in the ring with him. And we're the last
Right.
stand of defense,
Exactly.
You might get booed, but you got to do the right thing.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do, because the last thing you want to do is have somebody being hurt on your conscience.
Exactly.
You know what? It shows because you're passionate about the sport. You've always been passionate about it. And this guy, I don't think I've ever seen anybody more passionate. I give him credit. I give you a lot of credit.
Thank
for
you,
that,
bro. Appreciate it.
You do your passion. And
Yes,
people
sir.
can't say it's very good with it, you know?
I can tell you, I've got a lot of horror stories that I can tell you about some of the ring positions.
I know.
Tarek knew my boss too.
The best, Dr. Lorenz.
Dr. Lorenz, yeah,
Yeah.
good guy. But I really appreciate. I really feel at ease when I walk into the arena and you're sitting there at
Thank you,
ringside.
sir.
So this is really, big load is off my shoulders. And the other thing that I really appreciate is I really love that you bring a team with you. I know I get on their cases sometimes because you're the guy in charge. And it's a legal thing. I know they want to get in and they want to help out and all that stuff. But for the liability and everything, you're the only guy.
I'm responsible.
You're the only one responsible.
Yeah, so I have a great team. My background is so in my background is family, emergency, and sports medicine. So I'm trained in 3 different specialties, right? 3 different specialties, but I have a passion for sports. I'm an athlete myself. I train myself. But like I said, I mean, I love what I do, and I'm getting others involved, including interns, residents, future doctors, trying to get them into the sport, and it's working out great.
He puts a lot of time into this. And
I know that. I know that.
I mean, you gotta ask her. He puts a lot of time in.
She knows.
I feel about it.
I come down to the office. No, I come down and say hi.
Yeah, of course.
Actually, I go down.
Come join these because this is probably.
Actually, I just go down there to pick up a slice of pizza on the corner. And I said, well, I'm here at the bakery. Picking
Yes,
up a slice
sir.
of pizza. Might as well go in and say
Yes,
hi to
sir.
Mike. Well, we're
Absolutely.
going to wrap it up here because we're going to get ready to start. So,
Great.
Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Frank.
Terry, thank you very much.
Where's the mic? I don't know where I put the mic. Hey there. How's it going? Lionheart.